Marcus Irwin here from Pink Buckaroo Designs, and I have a special project for you today to use at your Easter party that you might be having this year. This came as a special request from Margaret. So Margaret, hi, thank you for the inspiration. She emailed me and said she was looking for a special silverware holder, you know, like a, I mean, this isn't silverware, but you know, a fork, a knife, and all that for your table setting at Easter. And she really wanted to use her Easter lamb stamp. So this is what I came up with. And it is really fun and easy to make. So I'm going to show you how to make it today. All right, the first thing you're going to need is a piece of craft cardstock that is 10 inches by 3.5, and I have scored it at 5 and 9.5. And we're just going to start by folding it in half. The other tool that you're going to need after you've scored it is the envelope punch board. And we're not going to make an envelope, don't worry, we're just going to use the punch. You're going to take each corner and line it up at 1.5 and punch. Okay, so I flipped it over, punch, flip it over, punch. Each time lining up the corner at 1.5, just like that. So that's what you're going to have. Then you're going to need to get your trimmer, although you could do this with your scissors also. If you don't have a trimmer that would slide in like this. I'm going to line this hole, make sure I'm in the screen so you guys can see me, line this hole right here with a gutter where the blade is going to go. So line that up, come over and cut just to each of those little divots, and it's going to make a straight line. And let's do it again here. All right, there we have it. Now we're going to take this where we've scored it at the 1/2 inch on the end. We're going to fold that over, and we're going to use the let me look at my measurement, 1/16 handheld punch. I always write it. I have written the sizes on the ends because I can never remember what they are. So I try to write it there, that way I'll remember. All right, now we've punched those, and I'm going to use our teeny tiny mini brads. Put them in there. This is going to hold it together, but it's also going to give it some room to give depending on how fat your silverware is. Let's see, where's my tiny brad? It's so tiny it's hard to see. All right, put those together. Now I used a bunch of different scraps of bright designer paper, something springy and Easter colored. This one is Daffodil Delight, and these measure 2 1/8 by 2 3/4. So go into your scraps and see what you have that will be good for spring and for Easter. All right, now cut a big long piece of burlap. I would say this is about 24 inches, and you're going to cut the long end off, and then you're just going to pull out these fibers. I've shown you guys how to do this before, and I thought that this was a really good choice for this. It's kind of that rougher texture. It looks like the linen thread, but it has a little more texture than the linen thread. It's kind of not curly, but wavy, maybe that's how you say it or describe it. I'm not quite sure, but you can tell it's a little bit different. All right, pull some of those out of there. I pulled 3. You can get about 15 strands out of one long piece of burlap ribbon. All right, I'm going to tie it here like this. All right, let's trim off those. So you wouldn't necessarily need 24 inches. You'd probably be just fine with about 18 inches long. But I like to have more than I need, because if it's too short, then you can't fix that. All right, I'm going to kind of pull these strands apart. I want them to be kind of not just looking like one. I want them to look like I have 3 there. All right, now take a paper tea-lace doily and fold it in half. And come over here and just cut one scallop off, okay? So we have a little bit of half of one. We'll cut up to the next one. That way, you can squeeze this in right See if I can get it in there. Right there, and it looks like it's a full one, but it fits down in that little, you know, that angle there. Okay, now for the Easter lamb, I decided to cut off the Happy Easter, and the reason I decided to do that was because it doesn't fit with a 2.5 inch circle very well. That's the whole reason I did that. So I'm using basic black on Whisper White, and I'm just going to come in and look at the back, and he's going to be towards the bottom. And I'm going to punch him out. Whoa, flying ink pads over here. Man, I made a mess. All right, Old Olive and Pink Pirouette ink. And I'm going to use my blender pen. This is a blender pen. It comes already, has liquid inside of it already, and it's a clear liquid. And so you can use it right on your stamp, your ink pads, or you can squeeze your ink pad if you don't want to use the actual pad, and use the ink that's there on the lid. And give him some little cheeks. And then your Old Olive, and just fill in that grass. You could also use your aqua painter. He is so, so cute, this little lamb. I just love him. All right. Now, I'm going to get a dimensional or two. And I'm going to put one at the top. Ooh, I've got burlap all over me. One at the bottom. And let's slide him right there underneath. How cute is that? Now, if you don't need a silverware holder, you can also make this a card. See how I stamped the Happy Easter at the top? And it just slides up and down. I'll have the measurements for that on my blog, so make sure you hop back over there. All right, so here they are. I've made 4 of them so far for my Easter event. I have Watermelon Wonder, Old Olive, Tempting Turquoise, and Daffodil Delight, all from the Designer Series stacks. They are great. You really should have them to use. All right, hop over to my blog, get the measurements and all the supplies, and get started on your Easter table decorations. All right, thanks. Bye-bye.